Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 3 in a series between Liquid Haypro versus Fanatics Rain here on Dual Site. Haypro spawning as the red Zerg at the left side of the map at what I'll call the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Rain spawning over here at the 3 o'clock position as the blue Terran. Terran versus Zerg on Dual Site. We'll see who comes out ahead in this particular matchup, and we'll see what the strategy is going to be. A little funny that you actually can see a little bit of flames coming up from underneath the command center right there. It looks like it's almost on fire. I don't believe that's going to be dealing any sort of damage. Meanwhile, back over here, Haypro doesn't have to worry about any animation doodads such as that. Now, I'm not wearing my headphones, so I am not annoyed by the waterfall. Waterfalls are nice in real life. They are just rather distracting in StarCraft 2. Anyways, Haypro will see what his strategy will be, as there are only 2 spawning locations on this particular map, and it does make for some interesting games sometimes when you know exactly where your opponent has spawned. By knowing where your opponent has spawned, you can open up and do a little bit more aggressive style of behavior. We'll see if Rain does go for a refinery or if he tries to do any double racks tactics, but most Zerg players are now more than accustomed to dealing with double racks pressure, and it usually sets Terran players so far behind that they really don't want to try to do it. It may come back into style a little bit later, but right now the Zerg players just know how to handle it so well that most Terran players don't even try to do it. We are going to be going into what I believe was a 15 hatchery down over here. Haypro getting that hatchery first. He may go for an extractor first, or he may go for a spawning pool first. Both options are viable, or sorry, second. Both options are viable, and it looks like he will be going for a spawning pool and then an extractor in order to get a stronger economic lead. Perhaps try to double train up even more queens as the supply depot quickly placed down in order to stop this one drone from really being able to do much of anything. And now a marine going to try to chase down this drone as the drone wanders around. And now we are getting a tech lab. So a tech lab now being established, and I believe this drone is just being microed very well down to 13 hit points. We'll take 3 more shots, 2 more shots, 1 more shot. There it goes. Down goes the drone. No additional scouting information. And Rain now going into an all-important Reaper, indicating that he should be trying to get a command center soon. The Reaper is only there for map control. It doesn't really deal that much damage, but it at least gives you sight on what your opponent is doing and allowing yourself to respond. And Rain, being very aggressive, gonna build a command center down over here by the gold mineral patches. That is something that I was not expecting at all. Most players do believe or think that this mineral patch is normally on the south sides or this sides, as it is closer to the third base here. This mineral patch may not be scouted out for quite some time, as a Reaper now hugging at the Zelnaga tower and should be able to figure out what's going on. Now the Reaper only has a range of 4.5 on his attack, so with that he's not going to be able to really chase down queens. Queens have a range of 3 and have a decent movement speed on creep. Zergling's going to be able to intercept that one Reaper, and the Reaper needs to jump down in just a moment. How much damage can be dealt? Down to 30 hit points and now backing off. But he is still being very, very sneaky with this one expansion over here, and if Rain is not caught, he may get a stronger economic lead, and his opponent Haypro is not going to really be able to respond all too well, especially with the additional minerals that mules will be able to harvest from that particular location. You can now see that the command center most likely will lift off and become an orbital command over here. Is it going to? No, it's going to upgrade to an orbital command first. A bunker may be established, and that would be a very interesting strategy. Having a bunker perhaps even right here or right here allows the Reaper to really fend off against any early Zergling harassment, as the Reapers are able to 2-shot Zerglings, and it's going to be quite some time before we see some roaches. Drones are still being trained up. Harvester count 29, 35 compared to 24. But with that additional orbital command now being set up, things are looking good for Rain, as Rain is going to be able to catch up in the economic game and perhaps even take a lead with the help of these all of these mules. You now see a 5-rack strategy coming in from Rain. We are getting a lot of reactors in play. And now this is going to just turn out to be very, very deadly. Double mules, as I mentioned, and very, very effective. You're going to see his income just jump through the roof. Now 1,400 minerals a minute, even though he is currently behind on harvesters. You can see how effective that really is over there, as the Marines now going to shoo away an Overlord, and the Overlord is looking for a command center and doesn't find one. So he's perhaps confused and now trying to figure out what his opponent is going to be going for. A second tech lab now being added, stim pack now being researched. I would have guessed combat shield should have been researched first, and then having the concussive shells researched from here. And oh, the Zerglings may be able to run by. No, the walls are up just in time. And really, I don't think Haypro really knows this production value or the productions of Rain. Rain has so many barracks right now, especially with 2 additional reactors, that he's going to be able to pump out units very, very quickly. Marines now pushing towards the Xel'Naga Tower. The Zerglings running straight into that group, not realizing how large it is, as now Rain is currently supply block 62 over 62, but 3 supply depots will quickly change that. Production value, Rain getting that combat shield, as the Marines are now, let me go ahead and back off there. As the Marines are now going to be making their way in. One Marine did stim on a little bit of an energy boost there, trying to take a look around, and now going to be going after the Spine Crawler. One Spine Crawler down, another Spine Crawler going to get taken down, but fighting on creep is very difficult, as Haypro wondering and just going to be able to deal with this harassment pretty easily. The Marines now need to stim away even further, and there is more reinforcements still coming in, and these Zerglings actually may get taken down, not realizing how many units are here. The Zerglings are not upgraded at all. Meanwhile, the Marines are not upgraded. So it is even footing there, but the combat shield about to be completed and now going into the engineering bay. Overlord still has not spotted out that command center over here, as we now see a fight at the Xel'Naga Tower. The Marines being very, very careful to hug up against that tower, making sure that there is not as much surface area, but Haypro still able to finish it off. And now Rain is behind 66 compared to 80, and now it looks like Haypro is going to try to knock on this front door, but without Banelings, I'm not quite sure how successful this will be. Zerglings deciding against trying to bust its way through here, and I like this play by Haypro to establish up a third base, even though he doesn't see his opponent running on 2 bases. This is something that a lot of the time Zerg players do fall into a trap of, thinking that they are ahead on bases, but it was very important that he still establishes the base on his own normal timing in order to make sure that he doesn't fall too far behind. 48 drones compared to 47 SCVs. Production value, 7 more Marines now being trained. Combat shield completed. 1 poor Marine. Just very, very out in the open. Not quite sure what that was about, as the Marines are now going to perhaps position themselves on both sides to see when units will be coming in. This hatchery is now completed. We are getting some additional gas from this rich Vespian geyser down over here. And this is still a rather cute play. If all of these mineral patches are mined out, then Rain can just lift off that orbital command and reposition it somewhere else in a better location. That is going to be perhaps the name of the game now, as Haypro feels that he is very, very far ahead, even though losses-wise it is pretty even, and even in the harvester column there's a slight advantage for Rain. So luring Haypro into a false sense of advantage, as the Zerglings now are hunting for Marines. Quickly going to find that one off over here. Double Spine Crawler is going to be added. There is a scanner sweep. Spine Crawlers now coming, just cracking the surface. It looks like the Spine Crawler will get off 1 attack, and that is it. And this hatchery from Haypro will fall. Zerglings coming in to try to engage over here, but this one Reaper is going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Not quite sure what the rest of the Zerglings are doing. They are just holding position, and this is a rather strange occurrence that the Zerglings are not engaging against those SCVs, and now 2 perhaps Marines will jump inside that bunker as well, as the Marines and the Marauders are still looking around. This command center has been completed, should be landing here or upgrading to an orbital command in just a moment, as medevacs are now added to the air, and this is looking very good for Rain. Rain now realizing that his hidden expansion is up, and he needs to make something happen while he has a little bit of the surprise before Haypro can equalize it. Haypro now needs to figure out what he's going to do in order to engage here. This hatchery has been destroyed. Haypro unable to really catch up in the economic game. Zerglings are now pulling back. creep tumor is going to get destroyed as the Mutalisk and Zerglings try to engage. What is going to be happening? One Marine very, very lucky to continue and survive once more. More Marines are still being trained here. Medevac still being added as the orbital command now going to be established. Rain taking his natural expansion at the 14-minute mark. Normally that is the sign that you are losing, but right now I still think it is Rain's game. Rain, as long as he doesn't walk or overstep into any sort of traps, he is going to be able to get in a lot more damage, as we now once again have Mutalisk trapping a bunch of Marines and Marauders here. Not a good engagement point. And Banelings, oh, the Banelings, are they going to be enough? The Marines need to stim away. A little bit of a split, and the Marines doing a good job splitting. The Marauders holding their position, the Marines trying to run away, and a couple key Baneling splashes, and Rain is now in trouble. Rain losing a lot of his forces there, and now 113 to 99. Zerglings now finishing off over here as the Marines holding that choke point. No more Banelings. Oh, Banelings now once again running in. Are they going to find a couple Marauders? They are. And now with the help of a missile turret, able to push that back and keep things even just a little bit longer. 54 Zerglings now coming in from Haypro. That is going to be very good news for Haypro, as Haypro now morphing in some Banelings as well to try to bust this game open. SCV is now being transferred back home. You can see there's not many mineral patches left over here, perhaps calling in a mule or two, and that place will be completely mined out, probably around 4 mules if I was trying to figure that really out. We are going to see one Marine hiding off over here as well, so Haypro now taking a bit of the advantage. His harvester count, 59 drones compared to 48 SCVs. These drones are really just need to be saturated a little bit more. The main bases are starting to mine out. You can see down to 120 mineral patches on some of them. Terran base even more stripped mine with the help of those mules, as we are now taking a look into the mid to late game and what players are going to be going for. Siege tanks and Marines. The siege tanks do not have weapons upgrade, and now in comes the engagement here. The Marines are going to try to back off. Banelings, oh, get completely splashed apart there. The Banelings not finding their target whatsoever, not finding those Marines, and then the Marines are going to be able to push that back, and a little bit of a bad engagement by Haypro in that one attack there. You can see now 73 drones compared to 51, but Rain doing a great job making sure to focus fire with those siege tanks to detonate those Banelings. If half of those Banelings found their target, it may already be GG, as the Mutalisks are now going to simply fly over here. There is one missile turret, not going to be enough. Does get one kill before it gets shot down there, and now SCVs are going to be for the taking. A lot of supply depots off over here as well, and perhaps 2 additional missile turrets can be added as the Mutalisks once again come back in for a bit more damage, and those glaive worms dealing so much damage as well. A 4th hatchery now finally being built off over here. The Mutalisks still fighting off over here, as the mules are really strip mining this location. And it looks like this one bunker is not going to be able to fight off against all of these Mutalisks. There is a couple of missile turrets over here. The Zergling's going to finish it off. And now this orbital command trying to fly away. Will the Mutalisk go back and hunt it down? No, it does not appear that way, as one Marine fighting off against one Zergling with the help of a medevac able to easily win that fight. Orbital command continuing to pull back here. And wow, what a great change so far. There's been a lot of changes in terms of who has had the food advantage. Haypro now back on top, but not by much. So it's really going to come down to who is smarter in that next battle. Rain going to land his orbital command here at the 3 o'clock location, but far away from over here. Missile turrets and bunkers are in position. There are a lot of missile turrets here. One missile turret goes down. Another missile turret is still firing away as a bunker gets taken down as well. And I think that was another bad engagement by Haypro. Haypro losing a little bit more of the resources there, losing units, while Rain only lost a missile turret and a bunker. Perhaps going to get some missile turrets off over here. Another engagement in the center of the field. Marines' siege tanks are in position. Those siege tanks looking to detonate and splash apart all of those Banelings, and those Banelings decide to run away once again. We are going to get some missile turrets down over here. Perhaps some additional SC. Oh no, in comes an engagement here. Banelings going to perhaps find their target. Marines able to run away ever so barely, and a lot of the siege tanks were destroyed, but it is now Marines against Mutalisks, and the Marines, who are upgraded 2-2, simply owning the 1-0 upgraded Mutalisks. And now Haypro has a very small army, and unless he really just opens up all of those banelings onto the army of these Marines, it is going to be a very bad engagement. Some Marines do get taken down, as those Marines are now backing off. Another baneling unable to find its target, and now Rain with 13 Marines, a lot of medevacs, and more reinforcements coming in, going to be able to take down this third base. And perhaps this may be the beginning of the end. So once again, another switch. 122 versus 111. Rain, a little bit over eager with one siege tank, is going to lose that there. But the Marines are still pushing their way through. There are drones, more banelings being morphed in. 20 seconds to train. Zerglings now trying to engage, and it looks like those Zerglings are going to be able to get some damage in, but now the reinforcements are coming back in, and banelings may be able to perhaps take down more of the Marines. Once again, banelings melting away a lot of those Marines. And will they be able to finish this off? One baneling, two banelings detonating, more Marines getting destroyed, but I think that is it. Rain now with the 3,300, more reinforcements gathering back home over here. Another drop going to be coming in. Decent sized army on the front door. What, 46 Marines? Marines are simply going to walk in here, and there is the GG. So Haypro losing game 3 after evening the score in game 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and this best of 3 series between Liquid Haypro and Fanatics Reign.